Okay, good evening, and welcome to the April 24th, 2025 Zoning Board of Adjustment of the City of Jersey City. Please join me in the salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, I'd like to announce that we will not be hearing any new cases after 10 p.m. We will finish whatever case we have, but after that, we won't hear any additional cases. And right now, we're going to start with, we're kind of shifting a little, so we're going to hear 10 and 9 first in new business. What? Yeah, I know. Give me a minute. Okay. All right. Okay, Eric, we're not ready yet. We're not ready yet. Okay, Eric, can we have a sunshine announcement, please?
Notice has been provided to Bergen Record, LS Bolito, and as well as posted with the city clerk. I'd like to request to mark this as B1.
Okay. May we have a roll call?
Commissioner Barron?
Here.
Commissioner Patel?
Here.
Commissioner Boyle?
Here.
Acting Vice Chair Allen?
Here.
Acting Madam Chair Arul?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay. Can we swear in the staff, please?
Swear or affirm the testimony or comments you're about to give this evening will be the truth, the whole truth, and
I have it all
written down.
All right. Are there any correspondence or adjustments, Eric?
No other correspondence. No.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so we have new business. So, as I mentioned before, I just want to remind everybody that we're not starting any new cases after 10 p.m., okay? Thank you. So we're starting with the new case. New business is case Z 2024-0038 and is 311 Ocean Avenue. Okay. Good evening. Can't hear you. You can go on the other mic if you like.
Yeah, can you hear me now? Okay, yes.
You now.
All right. Ronald Shalgian from Schumann Hanlon, and I represent the applicant in this matter. Good evening. My question is, do we expect any additional commissioners tonight?
As far as we know, none.
Okay.
You have 5.
Okay, I need to confer with my client for just a moment. All right?
Okay. It has to be 5 or 7. Because it can't be any number. So if he doesn't, he's just going to have to wait.
We're going to proceed.
Okay.
I'd like to call my first witness is Mr. Garber.
Okay.
He'll explain the application and the variances that we need.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this proceeding will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
And state spell your full name for the
It's
record.
Richard Garber, Garber. My license is current. I've been before the board many times at this point, so great, thank you. Nice to see everyone.
We recognize
also.
you.
Yeah. Nice to see everyone. Let me just go to full screen here so I can just show this. Okay, so 311 Ocean is the project that you're about to see tonight. Now, we are proposing here a 6-story building which needs some deviations from the underlying zoning, which is R1, and I'm going to explain that. To start, I'm going to contextualize the project just to give you a sense of what this is. So this is a kind of frontage on Ocean Ave right across from the cemetery between Warner and Chapel Ave, as you can see here. It's a large L-shaped lot, so it's a very large lot for the R1, and it had a previous use on it, a florist, and that florist would be a non-conforming use. That florist has actually moved to 1727 JFK, by the way, so she's still in town. And then in addition to that, to the right or north of us, there is a rooming house, also a non-conforming use, and to the left of us is an auto body, which is definitely not a conforming use. So in previous discussions, in initial discussions we had with the planning office, I was told that this was attractive land that was kind of being considered. They didn't get to it in the master plan, but it's something where some kind of zoning action could happen to potentially deal with the uses and also our large site. I should say the owner and his family of the site are here. They've been long-standing Jersey City residents and builders in town. So to draw your attention to the next slide, you see here that L-shaped lot, which we've isolated on the left panel. This is clearly in the R1 zone, and the R1 does permit, as you know, 1 and 2 family houses. So we are proposing a use variance here. Again, it's a very large site. When we zoom out of that 1,000-foot zoning map, you see that it really is a kind of mixed context in terms of zoning. And so we have the cemetery right across the street I mentioned. There is an Ocean Avenue to the north and south of us is basically governed by redevelopment plans, right? And so there's the Ocean Bayview redevelopment plan to the north that starts just beyond the cemetery. I have that noted. Also the RC1. RC1 is the new designation for the NC zoning, the neighborhood commercial zoning. And to the south, we have the Ocean Avenue South redevelopment plan, and more RC1 to the west of that. So you see that it's while this is definitely R1, there's a lot of other zones and redevelopment plans around us. And when I had a conversation way back when we started this project with the city, there was some discussion about joining Ocean Avenue from the north to the south at the cemetery. The timing of this project is such that we are coming to the zoning board for relief, but I do suspect something may actually be happening here in the coming years, given the densities and uses that we're asking for are consistent with the redevelopment plans on either side of us and the RC1 zone as well, right? And so the building as imagined is very consistent with what is in those zones. And we'll talk about exactly what that looks like in a second. Now you see the survey here, and the survey was done by Behar. Again, L-shaped lot, and you can see that there's a little bit of topo, a little bit of slope on the site, it's relatively a flat site, as well as a series of buildings that are with the kind of blue shading in them. Those buildings have now been demolished, right? So the site is vacant currently, which is great. And as I mentioned, we have to the left the auto body, and to the right the rooming house. And you can see that very, very clearly in this image, which is an aerial from Google Maps, where there is not a kind of consistency of uses on Ocean Avenue at this point. And like Ocean Avenue in the redevelopment areas, off of the corners as you go mid-block beyond, and in this case on Chapel and Warner, you do get a more common kind of 25 by 100 1 and 2 family houses that you see in this area in this aerial photo. This is an image of the site before the buildings were demolished, and so you can see that sort of rooming house, which is I'm not quite sure it's a per zoning, but it's a multifamily by use, and the building that's outlined in orange here is the old florist that has now been demolished. Right. Now, in terms of the zoning, I did mention we are asking for deviations here, and those deviations are primarily use and height, right? And so we are asking for a principal permitted use because we are requesting multifamily residential. We are not compliant with the underlining R1 zoning, which is really the 1 and 2 family zone. Now, the R1 zone has been edited recently to allow a little bit more density than that 1 and 2 family, but at the same time, this is, a true multifamily building, and as I suggested before, is more consistent with some of the surrounding redevelopment plans and so forth. So because of that, there's a density variance as well, and we're listing that here. We're at about 154 units per acre in our requested configuration. And then because of the configuration of the lot, that L shape, there is some setback relief that we need. Now, I'll go through that in the site plan, but I just wanted to call that to everyone's attention. The building height as proposed is 6 stories. And then the lot coverage, we're actually relatively close with lot coverage. The max lot coverage in the R1 is 85%. We're at about 96%. And so there is some relief there. And then we added a notice for parking where we are proposing 4 compact parking spaces. We're proposing 29 parking spaces within the garage. And again, I'll show that to you in a second. So key points before I show you the drawings. Our total lot area, that kind of L-shaped lot I showed before, is almost 17,000 square feet, 16,964 square feet. We have a total proposed building area, as before you, just under 75,000 square feet, 74,750. Our proposed building height is 6 stories and 64 feet 6 inches to the top of the roof. So admittedly, it's a taller building again for R1, but it is consistent with the height and density that is considered in the surrounding area. We're proposing 60 residential units, 28 one-bedrooms, 32 bedrooms, and 2 three-bedrooms. And should also mention that of those 60, 6 of those units are proposed affordable. So we have 1 one-bedroom proposed affordable, 3 two-bedrooms, and then 2 three-bedrooms for a total of 6. And so what we've done is...
Mr. Carver, let me just ask you a question about that. Was that mix of the affordable units something that the applicant worked with the city on?
Yes. Yes, so as always, there's discussions that we have with the affordable housing folks in the city to arrive at what they feel is appropriate in terms of what we propose. That was 10%. That's how we got to 6 units. And then the unit mix you see, as you all know, tends to privilege larger units, which is why we're proposing of the 6, 3 of them are 2 bedrooms and 2 of them are 3-bedroom units.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. Yep. We obviously have an elevator in a building like this, so it's fully ADA accessible. Our first floor contains 29 parking spaces. There's bike storage and utility, as well as a trash room, residential lobby, package room, small amount of retail, which was important. I'll talk a little bit about community outreach in a second and why retail is there, as well as a gym and some bathrooms to serve the gym. The parking access is from Ocean Avenue. This is important. We are proposing a 10-foot curb cut, which is standard in the city. In some of the community meetings, we did hear some concern about an existing bus stop on the corner. We are not in any way conflicting with the location of that bus stop. That bus stop will remain and will continue to function as it always does. And finally, bike storage is proposed for 36 bikes. And so now you see in our site plan, and I'll zoom in and show you the building plan, but this is the site. So you see the surrounding context. And you see that largely the building to the left of us is open space that's used for parking for the auto body, and then those lots 29 and 30 behind it is the auto body. And then on the other side, we have the rooming house, which is lot 20. And so you see we are largely taking the majority of the lot for parking, and we're proposing retail on the lower left side, and that's about 830 square feet or so of retail, a lobby next to that, and then a gym next to that. And so the way that you read this is the vehicular entry is in the filled orange triangle, so that's where the curb cut is, and that is immediately south of the bus stop, not interfering with the bus stop. And then the outlined orange triangles just show pedestrian ingress and egress to the building, and then we have a red triangle that shows the location of the retail entry as well. So all the entry and egress is from Ocean Avenue, being that we are in effect a mid-block site. Lighting plan, this has been submitted and reviewed, but we have ample lighting on the street based on city standards. I don't have to go into that so much. Proposed bike and trash removal. So you see here the bike path is in blue, the trash removal is in orange. We have a compactor and full service storage for trash on the residential floors, as well as a larger trash room in the base of the building. So all trash will be held inside the building and only brought out for collection. And the bike path sort of follows the trash path in terms of where the trash comes out of the trash room and to Ocean Avenue for collection times. And the collection location, by the way, also does not conflict with the bus stop. That was another important thing that we were able to work out. Just some diagrams that you've seen for what the configuration of the trash and recycling room is, as well as the bike storage, how that works. And now a kind of zoom in of our first floor plan. So just to look at this, it's color coded to make it easier. In the lower left-hand corner, that is the retail space, and so the retail we're showing is again about 830 square feet from memory. We do have a gym which is immediately to the right of that, so that's also fronted on Ocean Avenue. Next to that is the parking ingress and egress, and you can see in that kind of lighter orange, almost yellow, the circulation element. So we have 2 stairs and an elevator that carry up. And then the rest of the spaces that are coded orange are simply, building infrastructure type spaces, as well as a package room. And the rest of that first floor is given to parking. Right? On the second floor, the building then sets back, right? And so I should talk a little bit about the setbacks. So the primary setbacks that we need to be concerned about on the ground floor have to do with, this, in my opinion, this rear edge where there is a house that's nearby, and this rear edge where I'm circling here. We have a setback of, and it gets larger above, but the minimum area of that setback is 1 foot 2 inches, and we have that shown there. And then the largest is 2 foot 10 inches. And when you average those together, you get an average of 2 feet, which is what's permitted in the R1, which is why we set it up that way. And then on the side of the auto body, you see, and again, this is an odd-shaped lot, we have a proposed setback at the street of 6 feet 2 inches. Up above, you see that the building does set back, so everything that you see that is green is given to proposed deck space. And so you see that we have a nice, healthy 30-foot rear yard setback at the rear of the building. The building almost kind of looks like an upside-down triangle. An upside-down question mark, not triangle. Question mark when it's, I don't know where triangle came from. Question mark when it's, when you kind of look at it, right? And so you can see the hallway, which mimics that kind of shape that serves the egress systems, the 2 stairs and the elevator, as well as trash room, and then the residential units are kind of organized around that. And you can see that there is largely private deck space on the second floor. So these decks that you see that are coded in green here are private for the residents on the lower floor. And you can see, in addition to that 30-foot setback, we have a 7-foot 10-inch side yard setback there, as well as in vegetation along that area. And that area goes from 7 foot 10 in the rear to 10 foot 6 in the front, and then it is 10 feet at the left side. And then the third and fourth floor, so now you begin to see the kind of form of the building in the plan, right? So this is that upside down question mark that I mentioned. On the third and fourth floor, we have on each floor 3 of the affordable units. So we are locating those units on higher floors, kind of in the middle of the building. And so you see here 3 of the units that are coded in gray. The floor plan more or less stacks, and so those setbacks are held. You see that again on the 4th floor, and so you see the location of the 3 affordable units that have been designated, 1 in the front, 1 in the rear, and 1 sort of on that middle side. 5th floor, and then the 6th floor. The only difference on the 6th floor is we do provide a setback with a modest patio here where I have the hand, and what that's doing is it's allowing us to maintain a 5-story street wall, again consistent with those surrounding redevelopment areas. So that 5-story street wall, then the building sets back on that 6th floor, and then we have we've populated it with units, as I mentioned. The roof, there is no roof deck on this building. We're not proposing one. The owner typically likes, in doing these kinds of buildings, doing the deck space on the lower floors, which is what I have alluded to in the previous slides. We do have green roof that's located here that has been sized in conjunction with a stormwater management report that you have. And so the only thing that really is up on this roof, in addition to the green roof areas that you see that are coded in green, are areas for mechanical screening, as well as 1 stair that goes up to the roof. So if there's not a roof deck on the building, you only need 1 stair to go up for service access only. Finally, getting into the elevations, we have a mix of different colored brick on the front elevation, and you can see that the brick kind of zigzags in elevation, which we think is actually kind of nice and playful in that it, in doing so, it isolates these kind of 3-story sections of the building that go from, high to low to high to low. And so you can read that kind of pattern along the middle floors, which are the 2nd through 5th floor, right? And so you see that those 4 floors, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then the 6th floor, which is set back, is just a white cementitious fiber material. So brick and cementitious fiber board primarily to make up this facade. And then we have floor-to-ceiling glass storefront type windows that are on the lower area, and that's for retail access as well as that main building lobby. And you can see those doors here. I have a zoom in of this as well. The side elevations are a combination of stucco and cementitious fiber panel that is horizontal, so it's more like siding. You do see that we do have some side yard windows that are set back. If you remember from that plan, we have that setback on the side that goes from 10.6 to 7.10. And so you see how that begins to work here. And then the rear elevation, where we have that 30-foot setback, we have some windows as well. And then the side elevation that faces south, where we have some patio space, where we have that you saw on the plan. That's another a nice setback. We have courts. You saw those in the building plan with windows. And then just showing the block elevation, there's not much on the block, and so we don't have that much to refer to. We have that rooming house to the right, and then we have the kind of parking lot for the auto body on the left. And again, the building, I just can't underscore enough that we were really pointed to look at data from some of the surrounding redevelopment plans and underlying zoning, like the NC1, the RC1, to imagine what we think is an appropriate height and configuration for this building. You see that in the building section. This is all imagined. As I mentioned, the height is 64 feet 6 inches to the top of the roof structure. And we are and will be able to maintain very nice floor-to-ceiling heights, somewhere between 9 feet and 9 feet 6 inches. We're showing 9 feet 6 here. Once we get a structural engineer to work with us, those floors might deepen a little bit, but we're very confident, we do a lot of buildings like this, that we can maintain very, very nice floor-to-ceiling heights of 9 feet or better. And then I just have some colored enlarged front elevations. So you see here some of that base brick. What you see up top is the retail entry and the lobby entry, and I mentioned that there's kind of floor-to-ceiling storefront type glass there. Below that, you see the garage door that we're proposing, as well as some brick apertures that we're doing for some ventilation in the garage, which is a kind of playful application of brick that we like to use. And then you see some enlarged views of the windows. And the windows are all casement and fixed panel windows. And you see how those begin lining up in groups of 2 and 3 in the building. And then we just have some enlarged elevations showing those 3-story massings that I mentioned before to the left, and what the elevation on top of the building zoomed in looks like, as well as some signage below. And the signage is compliant with what's required. And again, just some window detailing that we have. Mechanical screen details. This is important. We like getting these into our drawing sets. These are generally 6-foot tall sound attenuated screens for any kind of mechanical equipment that's on the roof. And then as I'm nearing the end, 2 axonometric views of the building. Again, you see that kind of question mark kind of shape in the plan, and you see the articulation of the building on Ocean Avenue proper there. And then just to very quickly speak to a couple of questions that came up. Mr. Beasley had called late last week to talk a little bit about side yard windows, and I sent him an email that basically answered that. So what we were able to do was look at the existing conditions around us. And you can see I don't necessarily have to read this now, but we're quite clear that from a code compliance point of view, we do meet code in terms of any kind of separations that we need. And we're doing that based on a series of setbacks. I gave you the total size of setbacks before, as well as finding out that on that boarding house, the windows that are on the lot line are actually set in, I think a total of about 7 feet, if I'm not mistaken. I just have to look at my text here. But this was sent to Mr. Beasley, and we had a kind of discussion about that, and it was determined that this is, they're 4x10 courts, excuse me. This was determined that it would be appropriate and no codes would be violated. And then shadow studies. We do shadow studies for all of our buildings. The spring and fall shadow studies are the ones that we're most concerned about, and the reason why is because the winter shadow studies, everything's kind of in shadow because the sun is so low, and the summer, the sun is so low in the sky that everything tends to cast deep shadows. And in the summer, we have the opposite issue, where the sun is so high in the sky that shadows don't tend to be deep at all. So the ones that are important to us are the spring and fall equinoxes, which you see we really try to look and see the kind of implications of shadow casting, and we've outlined the building in red here, the implications of shadow casting on neighboring buildings. And I'm happy to report, given the location of this at the end of the block, we're kind of shadow casting not onto buildings, but in the mornings, we'd be shadow casting slightly behind us, so onto open space. And then as the day goes on and the sun moves sort of west in the sky, we're actually casting shadows back onto Ocean Avenue and the cemetery. So we think that that is appropriate. And I think that this drawing and this exercise that we went through, shows that. And then finally, I think I'll end with, an image of the building. We think it's a sharp-looking building. We think it's a nice mix of brick and the fiber panel. And we have really tried to break down the facade to be sympathetic, as I said before, to the various scales that we have on the immediate block, but also in the larger neighborhood, which contemplates not only 1- and 2-family houses, but because of the redevelopment plans, structures that are approximately scaled and sized with what is before you. So thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Just a couple questions.
Sure.
You attended a number of neighborhood meetings on this project, didn't you?
Yes. Yes, so I can talk about that. So there were a total of 3 neighborhood meetings, 2 of which I attended, as well as some direct conversations with Councilwoman Ridley. And it's nice to see, I think there's some folks here that were at those meetings. The Councilwoman didn't have any kind of reservations about the project. I explained to her its location and so forth. So I think she is in support of the project. We did talk about this. I did remind her just last week that this was going on to the zoning board, and she said, well, I don't really need to see it unless there's been changes, and we haven't changed it. So I think she was okay with that. One of the community meetings was actually quite well attended. It was at the school on Ocean Avenue, we did get a lot of questions, but I don't think there was any. The question that sticks in my mind most is the question about the bus. Because Ocean Avenue is a New Jersey Transit bus route, and there is a bus stop right at the corner in front of that boarding house. There was some concern, I think rightfully so, some of these folks take the bus for work and that kind of thing, that there would be disruption, and I can tell you that there is no plan to close the road. You can't really stop a bus route or anything like that. And so, the owner who will ultimately build this building understands that they cannot, any construction operations cannot conflict with either a right-of-way or a bus route, and that's something that I feel very comfortable can be managed.
Okay.
Is there a curb cut there now?
Yes, there are a number of curb cuts, actually, because of the florist. If I go back to that image, you could see it's probably hard to see here, but I think that, if I'm not mistaken, there are 2 curb cuts here that served the florist. There was also some parking here at some point, so there was blacktop that is now kind of overgrown. So what we'd be doing is, by removing those existing curb cuts and installing a new curb cut where I showed that is only 10 feet wide, which is the city standard, we actually would provide some additional parking on the street that would be precluded in the current orientation the existing condition.
How many spaces?
By removing one of the curb cuts, we can at least pick up 1 car, and by creating a 10-foot compliant curb cut, we may be able to create I'm not sure, we may be able to create another spot.
Okay. I don't have any further questions of Mr. Garber. I don't know if the board does.
No, we'll wait until the end. Thank you.
I just wanted to ask, can he speak into the mic when he's speaking?
Sure.
Okay.
Great.
Okay. Do you have any more speakers?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Make sure he speaks into the mic when he speaks. That's what they're looking for.
We have a traffic engineer who.
You got to speak into the mic
Sorry, we have a
so
traffic.
that the people in the back
I'm
can
sorry.
hear everything that's being said.
I apologize.
Thank you. No, thank you.
We have a traffic engineer, Lee Klein, who provided a traffic and parking study to planning, which is part of the record. He is here to answer any questions. I didn't intend to put him on, but he's available for questions. If the board has no questions of him, or the public has no questions of him, then I would like to call my professional planner, Catherine Gregory.
Okay. Not yet. Wait until the presentation, and then we'll have the audience speak, okay? Thank you.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this proceeding will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
And state and spell your name for the record.
Catherine, Kathryn, Gregory, Gregory. Business address is 96 Linwood Plaza, number 350 in Fort Lee, New Jersey.
Ms. Gregory, you heard Mr. Garber's testimony, did you not?
Excuse me, can you speak into the mic, please? Thank you.
You heard Mr. Garber's testimony, did you not?
Yes, I did.
And I would like you to please take the board through the variances that the plans that Mr. Garber's office prepared trigger, and give us your analysis as to the reasons why this board could grant the relief we're looking for.
Certainly. We're here tonight seeking several variances associated with this application, and do you mind if I
No.
use this? A few things here. And Mr. Garber explained a few of those variances to you during the course of his testimony. The first and foremost variance would be a D1 use variance. And what's interesting about this is actually not for the residential portion of this, which I think he kind of indicated. It was actually for the commercial space, because we're not actually permitted to have that because it's not reflective of what was historically there in the I believe it was the 1930 tax map. We're not replicating the florist, so we're not permitted to have commercial here. However, what's interesting about the R1 zone is that commercial is permitted, but it's only permitted as a conditional use on the corner. And we're not a corner lot. We happen to be a middle lot. So that's why we need the variance. So in terms of a D1 variance, we have to prove that the site is particularly suitable to the use. Now, I would venture to say that, number one, the lot is greatly oversized for the zone. It's 6.8 times the minimum lot size for the zone. The site already had commercial on the site. The use is a permitted conditional use if it was on a corner lot. We don't have access to our corners. I'm sure that the applicant would have probably loved to buy up the other properties too, which happen to be non-conforming. But as Mr. Garber said, he believes after the meetings with the neighborhood and also with city staff, that what's going on in the area with all the different rezonings and the redevelopment plans, that this is very apropos to try to create some activity on Ocean Ave. So I do believe that we have a justification for the D1 use variance for that commercial use, albeit it's not a very large portion of the building. We also need a density variance, and this is why I say we don't need a use variance for the mixed use. I'm sorry, for the residential. We are permitted to have up to 42 dwelling units per acre. The applicant has proposed 154 dwelling units per acre. And when we talk about a density variance, we have to prove that the site can handle the increase in that density. Now, first and foremost, again, I'm going to state that the site is way oversized for the zone. It's 6.8 times the minimum lot size. And I think actually after reviewing your planner's report, he did a really great job of explaining it too. What that affords us in this larger lot size is we also have nice apartment sizes. We have an average unit size of over 825 square feet. We are providing 1 to 3 bedrooms, and we are providing a number of affordable housing units. I'm going to talk a little bit later about the positive criteria on how we meet the goals of the municipal land use law with the affordable housing, but we are able to do that. Just as well, we are providing ample parking on site that is required by the code, and as was stated by Mr. Garber, and is also contained in your city planner's report. As we all know, there are bus routes that are on Ocean Ave. There's 2 of those. We have a bus stop right there on the corner. And we are located basically in between 2 light rail stops. And when I had pulled them up, I actually had a little bit less of a walk on my Google Maps than your planner did, but he said it was 12 minutes to Danforth Ave and 14 minutes to Richard Street. And so we are close to public transit. So that also contributes to the fact that we can have a density that's higher because of transit-oriented type development. We're also seeking a D6 height variance. 35 feet is permitted, and 64 feet 6 inches is proposed. Again, this also relates to the fact that the lot is so much oversized. We are also located across from the cemetery and across Ocean Ave. So really there's no impacts in that direction. Your planner actually did a very exhaustive report and looked at all the shadow studies that Mr. Garber presented to you earlier, and determined that there were no negative impacts in terms of light, air, and open space based on those shadow studies. Will there be any kind of impact? Yes, and Mr. Garber fully admitted that. However, would there be adequate light, air, and open space? Yes. This is what we believe and also your planner found in his report. Going on to the C or bulk variances, there are two types. The C1, which is in cases of hardship, which has to do with unique topographic conditions and other things affecting a property, or where the purposes of zoning would be advanced and the benefits outweigh the detriments. I would say that in granting these variances, I believe they fall under the category of C2. The first would be the rear yard setback. 44 feet is required, and we're proposing 0 foot on that ground floor, and that's basically to have all the parking that is required on the site. But as the building goes up, we are setting it back at 30 feet from the rear. And because of the configuration, when you take a look at the aerial, which is unfortunately not up on the screen right now, you notice that there are no buildings that are actually abutted into the back of our lot. And that's because we have this unique configuration and we are located in the middle of the block at the end. So there's not really any true impacts by having that deficient rear yard setback. Again, there will be adequate light, air, and open space. We also need a variance for lot coverage. 85% is permitted and 96.9% is proposed. Now, again, a large portion of that is in contribution to the fact that we want to provide all the parking on the site. Again, the upper floors are reduced. We're also offsetting that by all of the green roof space that we've provided. And Mr. Garber went through his plans for you, indicating all of the green areas that were located on the plan. Going forward, we also need a variance for the number of stories. 3 stories is permitted, 6 stories is proposed. I would go back to my previous testimony in terms of the D6 variance, in terms of the fact that the lot is oversized, and in terms of being across from the cemetery and the surrounding properties having adequate light, air, and open space. We also need a variance for the compact vehicle spaces. We do have 5 compact vehicle spaces that are at 8 by 18, where 8.5 by 16 is required. However, the fact that we have 24 9 by 18 spaces, I think, helps to, override the deficiency. However, it is very normal in more urban settings, in order to get the number of parking spaces you want on site, to have smaller spaces. That's very standard. Mr. Klein would tell you that too. And as we also know, when you're in a little bit more of an urban setting, I'm not saying that everybody has a smaller car, but people tend to have smaller cars, especially if they want to park on the street, because you want a smaller car to park in the street, so and more efficient fuel. So therefore, typically you'll have smaller cars. We are also technically asking for a variance for the mechanical coverage exceeding 20% of the maximum. In terms of that, we're only asking for that because we don't have the drawings complete yet, and because if this gets approved, then you go to the construction drawings phase, and there might be an overage. It's not going to be 50%. It's going to be over 20% maybe, but it might not be. So the applicant was asking for a variance for that as a precaution, so that they didn't have to come back to the board in case that mechanical equipment happened to go over 20%. So I'm not sure how the board typically handles that in terms of if they're going to put a limit on it, if they decide to approve it. And maybe Mr. Garber has an opinion.
Mr. Garber pointed out that the code maxes it out.
Microphone.
Mr. Garber points out that the code maxes it out at 30%, so it would never exceed 30%.
Okay. Okay, then we have our answer to that.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Garber. Okay. So, in terms of all of the variances, we have to prove both the positive and the negative criteria. In terms of the positive criteria, we have to promote the purposes of the municipal land use law. And I would venture to say that we do promote several of the purposes of the municipal land use law. First and foremost would be Purpose A, which talks about promotion of the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare. The reason that I say that is we are providing infill development in an area with existing infrastructure, which is a goal of the state plan. And just as well, we are providing 6 affordable housing units, which is also one of the state goals and tenets. I also believe that we promote Purpose I, which talks about promotion of a desirable visual environment. Basically, we're really upgrading the site. I know it's vacant now, but it didn't look so great after it was a little bit abandoned. So now we're providing a state-of-the-art new mixed-use building along basically a heavy traveled corridor that is a corridor that is used by a lot of people, obviously in Jersey City, particularly for the fact that you have buses that are going down the road. Purpose C, which providing adequate light and open space. I missed that one. And in terms of the negative criteria, I don't believe there's any substantial detriment to the public good by granting the proposed variances. Again, as I've stated before, the lot is oversized, and we do believe that it can accommodate the variances that are proposed. We are providing affordable housing, which does actually promote the public good, and we do believe that we meet the intent of the ordinance, as the purpose of the R1 zone is to create high-quality, diverse housing types in all neighborhoods, which that will accommodate the needs of all types of residents. We are providing both the market rate and also the affordable housing on this site. I don't believe there's any substantial impairment to the intent and purpose of your zone plan and zoning ordinance. I did look at your last Jersey City land use element, which was completed in 2021. And I believe that we promote the following land use principles. Ensure the city's available housing is balanced and meets the needs of all current and future city residents. Again, that's where we're providing affordable housing and market rate. And also strengthen neighborhood-oriented commercial areas. We are providing that commercial space as well. So in conclusion, I believe that we meet both the positive and the negative criteria. We do promote a few of the purposes of the municipal land use law, which we need to do to prove not only the D variances, but also the C2, where the benefits outweigh the detriments and must be rooted in the purposes of zoning. So with that said, I'll take any questions right now.
No, we'll wait until the end, please.
Okay. Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you have any other speakers?
I have Mr. Klein available, as I said, but I have no further witnesses, unless there are questions from the public that Mr. Klein
Requires
can
that.
answer or the other professionals can answer.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to open up the meeting to the public. You will have 3 minutes to speak and say whatever you need to say. We will be keeping track. Once we say your 3 minutes is up, then you're going to have to just kind of finish up whatever you have to say, okay? Okay, you're going to keep the track? You're going to Jeffrey? Jeffrey, okay. Okay, Jeffrey. All right. Okay, so do we have any speakers? You can come up to the podium. You would have to say your name and where you live for the young lady.
Okay, first and this is for everybody, just state and spell your full name and provide your address.
Hi.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this proceeding will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes. Corey Garriga, CORY, GARRIGA. Good to go?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Commissioners, I'm here tonight to represent Commissioner Bill O'Day.
Okay.
In support of this application, the commissioner, as he understands it, this is not only the 6 units of affordable housing, but 54 units are going to be workforce housing.
Oh,
what
nice.
that also means is keeping, certain professionals within Jersey City. Jersey City has seen an influx of cops, teachers, and other professionals that just start off here, but because of the rental prices, they move out into other towns, which cause them to move and take their services elsewhere. So we definitely would like to keep that in the neighborhood. Not only that, but the commercial space in the ground is going to help revitalize the area, I believe. So Commissioner O'Day is in support of this. If you know Commissioner O'Day's track record, we don't really associate ourselves with bad actor landlords and developers. So we are pretty confident in this application, and we'd like to give our support. That is all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, can we have the speakers, when you please come up, can you please spell your name and also give us your address, okay? Thank you.
Hi, good evening.
Hi, good evening.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this proceeding will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do. Hi, my name is Winnie Mullins, W-I-N-N-I-E. Last name is Mullins, M-U-L-L-I-N-S. I've been a resident of Warner Avenue.
Address?
40 Warner Avenue, Jersey City, New Jersey, 07305.
Okay,
Okay, a little nervous.
that's okay.
I've been a resident of Warner Avenue now for 26 years. Seen changes in the neighborhood, concerned about this building because of the overdevelopment, the number of people who would move into the neighborhood, the number of parking spaces that are being allotted for a 60-unit building. To think of a 60-unit building, it's easy to say you can have 2 cars per unit. It's 120 cars, and you have 29 parking spaces. I have friends who live 3 blocks away on Van Nostrand Avenue who park on Warner Avenue because there's no parking on their block. So I don't, what this would do to parking in that area on my block would be horrendous.
Okay.
One of the presenters kept mentioning a larger lot. A larger lot is on the ground. Just because you have a larger lot doesn't mean you build up 6 stories. How many variances are they asking for? They're asking for many variances. These zoning laws were put into effect at some time for a reason. There was also mention of the different redevelopment zones. We're not there. We're not in that redevelopment zone. They're here and here. So in order to build this building, there are a lot of variants being asked for, and I don't see it benefiting the neighborhood. Not that many people coming in. I don't see it benefiting. Someone else mentioned Ms. Ridley. Ms. Ridley should be here to speak for herself.
Okay.
Okay. You mentioned market rate housing. 90% of this building is
One minute
market
left.
rate. 1 minute?
1 minute, yes.
I'll finish up. Market rate. Like the gentleman said, a lot of people have moved out of Jersey City. They can't afford Jersey City. I just read an article yesterday. Hoboken and Jersey City have some of the highest rent in the friggin' country. But you're telling me 90% is market rate? Jersey City residents can't afford that. We got to do better. 10%? My daughter's been on I don't know how many lists for affordable housing within Jersey City. She works for the public defender's office and can't afford to live in this city. She's still at home with me. I want her to move out, but she can't. And she works for the public defender. Like, you guys have got to do better. Please.
Okay.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this proceeding will be the truth?
I do.
Nothing but the truth?
I do. فاتح صباغ فاتح صباغ FATEH
Is that F as in
Frank ATEH EH SABBAGH
S-A,
BBAGH
S-A-B-B,
AGH.
G-H.
I live in 248 Fowler Avenue, and I have a business on 15 MLK. Okay. Number one, The traffic engineer in the area, he should go drive at night time. I have a business on 15 MLK Drive where it's going to be another new building, to get approved, and going to be 50 apartments. There's across the street from me, a new building.
You're going to have to slow down. You have a little bit of an
Okay,
accent.
I'm sorry. Okay. Okay, across the street from 15 MLK, a new building, it was developed and was built last year. There is no place to park a car. I have a business, I can put a vehicle in front of my business. Long Street, there is no space. McAdoo, there is no space. McAdoo
McAdoo.
Avenue, yeah. I keep circling even if I have to drop merchandise in my business. I gotta find a place to park my car. I get ticket. You go at night time of 1 MLK, you find car parked on the bus stop. Okay? Number one. Number two, what the impact on the school? 60 apartments, that means 120 children minimum. Because nobody can afford smaller studio today in this area, $2,000. That means need two to pay for the rent.
Yeah.
Okay? Two people to live in the apartment to pay for the rent. Let's say assume each apartment have one child, that means 60 children impact on the school loan. That means extra 2 classrooms. Cars, 60 apartments, some of them 3-bedroom. How many cars this building, the residents are going to have? At least 70, 80 cars. Where are they going to park? The entrance of the building for the car is going to be on Ocean Avenue. What's the speed on Ocean Avenue? And there is no traffic light over there from Danforth, like 6 blocks down the road. And nighttime there is racing area between the kids racing on this area and the entrance for this building garage from Ocean Avenue, which is going to be very dangerous.
1 minute left.
Okay, so we're talking about parking. Plus, they give us 6 small economy apartment. Wow, big deal. What we doing? A studio today rent $2,000 in the area. So what the 3-bedroom apartment rent going to be in this building? Okay, how many cars, how many kids? Everything affects this building. That's why I oppose for this plan. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this proceeding will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. My name is Valinda, V as in Victor, A-L-I-N-D-A, Tobe, T-O-B as in boy, E. I'm here to speak to the
Address.
Address 47, Warner Avenue, Jersey City, New Jersey.
Okay.
I'm here to speak to the changes that are happening in our neighborhood. I signed the petition today. I just got the petition. I've heard a little bit about this a couple of weeks ago when my sister-in-law asked me, did I get any paperwork? And I told her no, I didn't know anything. She explained something to me. Then my other neighbors started talking to me about it, and then I got mad. 60 units on the corner of Ocean Avenue. My mother and father bought their house in 1968, okay? We've been there probably one of the longest families on that block. I had got married, moved away, came back, but my dad died in 2014. You're turning us into New York. We live in Jersey City, okay? We don't have neighborhoods anymore. We don't have tree-lined streets. We're trying to keep what we have. Down in our section, we have a neighborhood. We have kids that ride up and down the block. You're asking us to give that up. Our kids can't ride up and down the block. We're afraid to let them out there. They can't ride their bikes in the street. We got neighbors that watch the kids. All these neighbors know me. They know the Atkins, okay? Who we all know in a 60-unit building? These people are going to park on our block. The ones that come from around the corner on Way Street, those are our neighbors, okay? But we know the cars that park maybe in our driveway because they have no parking where they live at. You cannot find parking for that building on that corner. And we have people in that cemetery too. I have been there just about all my life since I was 7 years old. And I am back there watching my mother in the twilight years of her life. And she doesn't know Warner Avenue, the corner. because of what's going on there. How about taking care of the prostitute and the drug addicts that stand on that corner? Okay? How about doing that? How about keeping them out of the houses and go after the owners that own the houses on that block that let people squat in their houses and then they have to pay to come and get them out?
1 minute left.
I thank you for my time. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
You still have 1 minute.
I'm good.
Okay.
Swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this proceeding will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, I do. Hi, my name is Sarita Oglesby. My name is spelled Syreta. J as my middle initial, Oglesby, Oglesby. I reside at 27 Fulton Avenue, Jersey City, New Jersey, 07305. Okay, I have a remark because some of the concerns, and I happened to discover this meeting was happening because I saw a flyer on one of the building posts around the community. Definitely have to reiterate what many people are saying because our cost of living is definitely increasing, and yet the resources and finances are definitely decreasing at a rapid rate, especially underneath this very controversial administration. And these things need to be taken into consideration, considering that we live...
Slow down.
Okay. Considering that, I just want to make sure I stay to my 3 minutes. So I want to make sure that we are very clear about people making their bare minimums to be able to survive in this community. In 2011, you had to make over $20 per hour at an 80-hour work week in order to sustain your living environment in Ward A specifically. So that's something that definitely needs to be taken into consideration. I know that Governor Murphy enacted the law. He signed it back on March 20th, 2024, amongst the Fair Housing Act. And so my question to the developers is, how do you define what low and moderate income families is and what is affordable? Because that is definitely going to be extremely problematic. Also, I believe it's very interesting that you chose 10%. I thought it was 25% at one point. Okay, well, I apologize about that, but I definitely recall reading that from years ago. But I definitely would like to address what does low and moderate income, not necessarily affordable, because affordable is contrary to who you're actually speaking to. Thank you.
Hello. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this proceeding will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes. Tiara Stevens, Tiara Stevens. I'm a resident of 16 Wade Street, Jersey City, New Jersey, 07305. My main concern is about the parking. Again, the 29 spaces will not be enough for that building. Living on Wade, we barely have enough spaces as it is for the residents on Wade Street. Most of us have to park on Ocean anyway. So it would be enormous to not have that amount of parking. Princeton recently just became a permitting area, and I'm hoping that soon we don't have to have permitting parking as well. And the unaffordability is a huge portion of this as well. I work in community development. We serve low to moderate income individuals every day. The median income for someone in Jersey City to be low to moderate income in Jersey City is $75,000, and we still have people making that amount of money coming in community development asking for housing, and we don't have anything to give them. So I'm strictly opposing something like this because I see the residents every day in community development, and we can't help them with affordable housing because we don't have it. The affordable housing in Jersey City is not affordable for the residents, and I literally see that every day. And also, we have so many apartment buildings in Jersey City where the schools are not being funded enough just from our property taxes. Majority of the homeowners in Jersey City pay so much property taxes when we have all these apartment buildings with people living in there that benefiting off of our school system, and they're not paying anything for the schools. And I don't think that's fair for us Jersey City residents and for our homeowners here in Jersey City. Thank you.
Okay. Good point. But parking is I can't find parking anywhere.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this proceeding will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
My name is Janice Ferdinand, Janice, Ferdinand, Ferdinand. I live at 57 Wade Street, Jersey City, New Jersey, 07305. As a teacher in the Jersey City Public Schools, I can honestly say having this building coming to this area, it would not be beneficial to any of us. On my street now, with all of this new gentrification that's going on, the homes that were recently bought in our area, which were two-family homes, they're now being rented with every space possibly that can actually hold someone within. And it's mind-boggling to see a two-family home being turned into almost like a mini apartment building, whereas all of the individuals who come in have cars. There isn't any parking on my street, on Wade Street, and just as the lady said recently, there are people who park in your driveway, which are allowed, our neighbors, because they cannot find any parking. And as a teacher in the Jersey City Public Schools, there are 3 schools within that corner on Danford and Ocean, with the buses coming in, the school buses, not just traffic alone. We at times arrive late because we cannot get to the destination of our school because of over trafficking and also the parking. And we're now told by our superintendent that we by any means necessary, we have to be there on time, which is stressful. It's stressful to actually make a living in this city, which has changed dramatically. And the cost of living has gone up, but not our incomes. So having this building, I believe it will create a lot of stress for a lot of the people here. And as someone said earlier, what is affordable? $100 less than what the apartments...
1 minute left.
Of what the apartments would really go for. There's always hidden agendas within these codes, or it sounds like it's wrapped up nice and pretty with a bow on it. It sounds very, very, promising. But I know that there are some underlying things in there that's not beneficial to the residents of this area. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, excuse me, miss. If you know of an apartment that's illegally being used, you can
I know many of them.
download the Click See Fix app and report it, and somebody will come out and take care of it.
I hope so. Thank you.
Click See Fix. It's an app. Click See Fix. Yes. See Click Fix. Sorry.
Click Fix. Hello, my name is. Oh, sorry.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this proceeding will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do. My name is Tiffany McQuarrie. That's Tiffany. Last name McQueary. I live at 28 Warner Avenue in Jersey City. And I am against this development. It is too many units. It goes against the fabric of the community that's currently there. If you're familiar with that neighborhood, the Greenville community in general, but particularly the Warner Avenue community, it's a tight-knit community of 1, 2, 3 family houses. To put 60 units in this area, I believe, is irresponsible, and it does not fit within the fabric of the community. It definitely will impact traffic in the area. It will impact parking for sure. There are better ways to develop in Jersey City. We see what happened downtown. We see what's going on in General Square. No one is saying that Jersey City doesn't need development, because it is clear that it does. But we have to be smart about it, and we have to develop in a way that fits the community that you're developing. Every building, it's a cookie-cutter building, and no offense to the developers or the design, but I've seen this building before in other parts of the city. This building does not belong in Greenville. This building does not belong on Ocean Avenue with 60 units. The density that they're asking for is just too much for the neighborhood, and I feel like it will not be beneficial. The amount of affordable housing units that was stated, we understand that's what's mandated, that 10%, but for that community, we cannot afford to develop in a way that does not benefit the current community and provide housing for people that need housing in the neighborhood. I don't know how much time I have left, but that's really all I have to say. I really hope that you guys vote against this in its current state. Perhaps they can renovate it and come back with a different design that has less units. But in its current state of 60 units, I feel like it's just too much, and it's not a good thing for the neighborhood.
Yeah. Thank you. Anyone else?
Good evening.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this proceeding will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do. My name is Keon Payton.
If you want to use the other microphone, I think you would feel more comfortable.
That makes sense. Thank you very much.
Okay.
My name is Keon Payton. I've been a resident of Jersey City all of my life. I reside at 43 Warner Avenue. KeonPaton. Once upon a time, I believed boards and councils to act in the best interest of the people. However, after seeing discontentment of people overlooked many times, my faith in these bodies wavers at times. Developers will always attempt to do what they please and push everything to the last inch in order to increase profit. Do they care about anything other than the dollar? In most cases, no. The dangerous thing about that is when finance becomes your driving factor, morals, values, things that you wouldn't want done to your neighborhood become secondary with all focus on profit. I bet these developers would lose sleep if this exact development was built on their block, if the tables were turned. Are they interested in the integrity of a community? No. The flow and function of a neighborhood? No. It's all numbers. This is the thing when you have people not of a place build there. They aren't concerned about the things that makes an area a certain way and will willingly compromise them for their goal. The impact these developments make on the neighborhood is irrelevant. The sole goal, profit. Through time, discontentment has been shown on many developments, and once criteria are met by developers, it seems as if things are usually approved. Which makes me think, does the people matter in these decisions? Whether 1 or 100 stood against this, which more than 150 have petitioned against these variances on this project, would the decision still be the same? Codes and regulations are set in order to protect things that matter to citizens of an area and integrity of a neighborhood. So variances shouldn't be granted in order to protect these precious things to people of the area. Like I said before.
1 minute left.
Yes, sir. Like I said before, when you aren't of an area, you just draw up a plan because it looks interesting and nice when you draw it and design it on paper. Parking is bad already, and you want a variance for more stories, which means more residents, more cars. I can personally speak on behalf of people in the area who have to park blocks away when coming home at certain times. No one is against building on the land, but please don't grant these variances. Don't sacrifice our neighborhood to appease another developer's quest for increased profit. Thank you.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this proceeding will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do. Tiffany Stevens, Tiffany. Steven, Tiffany. Oh, Stevens, Stevens. And I reside at 16 Wade Street, Jersey City, New Jersey, 07305. Yeah. Hi, I'll just come up here to talk about my experience with the affordability in Jersey City. I'm a public school teacher I used to live in affordable housing in Jersey City, which I had to move out of because I couldn't afford it. I had to pay for parking, which was about $300 a month. Couldn't afford that, so I ended up parking on the street, which we're concerned about now.
I also had to move out of Jersey City because I just couldn't afford it. Now I'm back in Jersey City living with my parents. And I just don't think this is a conducive, like many other people said, there's too many residents for the parking, the affordability, 10%. Me as a public schools teacher, I can't even afford the $2,000, $3,000 of rent. So I'm just coming up here to speak my issues with the building. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this proceeding will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. Good afternoon. Good evening. My name is James Winston. I reside at 11 Warner Avenue. Okay. My concern is that I own that property. It's a two-family home, and this structure that you're proposing to build would be directly outside my backyard. Okay. By allowing a six-floor structure, it would limit my view of my backyard, because this structure would be adjacent right to my backyard fence. Okay. As everyone else is, I'm concerned about the parking. I'm concerned about the number of units, because in that neighborhood, even though it's tight-knit, what have you, parking is the big concern. Also, you're worried about the foot traffic. These would be people that we don't know coming through our neighborhoods, where you're already worried about your children, not knowing who's there. This is another concern that comes up. But the main thing is that by owning that property, one of the reasons that I obtained it was that I could use the backyard, that I could, relax, enjoy my neighborhood, as I've grown up in Jersey City all my life. And by having this structure here, now you deprive me and my family of some of the things that we enjoy. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this proceeding will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes. Name's Dirkyl Payton, D-E-R-K-Y-L, last name Payton. I reside at 43 Warner Avenue. P-A-T-O-N. P-A-T-O-N. 43 Warner Avenue. First and foremost, I thank the board for your time and for your seriousness in which you consider this application. I've come tonight not because I oppose all development. I think most of us understand that the city needs to grow, but I do believe that growth should happen within the framework of our zoning code and in a way that balances the needs of new and existing residents. So that's to touch back on some of the variances that are being asked of. A major increase in density. As we mentioned before, 42 units per acre to 154, which is 3 times the permitted amount. Seeking 60 units, which is 44 extra units than the 16 that is allowed. Variances for height, which is asking for 66 feet, which is an additional 30 feet that is allowed by the zoning laws. Variance for six stories, which is double, which is allowed from 3. A setback in 0, so we're pretty much building right on people's property lines. And building of 97% of coverage instead of 85. Also, I'd like to add, even when the residents were notified in the area, the link that was provided to the residents did not work. It still does not work. So how was everyone supposed to understand the project in totality if the information was not properly provided? These aren't minor tweaks to the zoning code. These are foundational elements of the zoning ordinance, looking to expand on height, density, and width that's being covered. Under New Jersey law, the standards for granting a use variance are intentionally high. They exist to protect the neighborhood developments that are too intense for the surrounding areas. This will be the tallest residential building in the area. The applicant must show that the site is particularly suited for the project and it will serve the public good without undermining the master plan or zoning framework, which I don't believe it is. I'm asking for the board to consider this. If this block, which is currently made of a mostly two-family
1 minute
homes,
left.
Of this block is mostly made up of 2 family homes, qualifies for this scale of development, what doesn't? And if the board grants as many variances for one single project, what does that say to other developers looking to build in Jersey City in this area? We risk setting a precedent that the zoning rules are flexible, not based on need, but based on who asks. I'm here tonight because I care about the long-term health and fairness of the process, not just for one block, but for the whole city. And I urge you to deny this proposal and as it's currently presented. Thank you.
Thank you.
They make a good point, but I mean, do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this proceeding will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes. Hi, my name is Aja Mullins, AJAMULLINS. Okay.
Address?
As you know, my mom is the
Address?
40 Warner Avenue, Jersey City, New Jersey, 07305. My mom was the first speaker. Yes, I'm the one that works at the public defender's office, and I have applied to a lot of places that says that they're affordable housing. There was a place, there's a website called Piazza. It says it's affordable. You need to make $50,000 in order to get an apartment. I don't make that. And I'm looking. Nobody's hiring. You guys are proposing a 60-unit building, and it's just like, okay, it's nice and all, but what about the people that's in the area already? They're fighting to afford their properties. We have been fighting to afford our properties. You are basically kicking us out. And then it's like, I work in Journal Square. I see the construction that's going on there. I see the people that live in these buildings. They're not from here. Can we keep home instead of inviting strangers in? How about we actually work on home first? That was a florist. I actually used to go inside that florist. I actually made friends with that florist. Instead of us building something where it's going to bring strangers in, how about we build something there that's going to provide for our people that's there? How about we do that? So I'm against this, and also because of the parking, like everybody said, there's no parking as it is today. I live with my parents. There's 4 cars in that house, I'm sorry. Where are we going to park with the 60 new units that's going up? That's 120 people, let's say. It's like, okay, did y'all really think this through? I don't think that y'all did. Y'all just seeing dollar signs. And that's the problem with America today. We so greedy for money, we're not thinking about the people that's here. So with that, I end my speech.
Okay. Thank you. Take that big one, because you're a big boy right there.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Darren Richardson. Oh, I'm sorry.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this proceeding will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes. Again, my name is Darren Richardson.
Okay.
DarrenRichardson. I reside at 6 Warner Avenue. The problem I have, like everybody is complaining and saying, it's the traffic. From Danford to, I can't think of the other name of the street, it's like a raceway. We have no traffic light in between that. And if you have cars coming out of that lot, that garage, 9 out of 10, they're going to get into an accident because there's no lights. And then if a bus or a truck is sitting there, which usually they do park their trucks on that corner, where they're going to see it. As of the crime done went up a little bit in that neighborhood. I take care of the building across the street, which he keeps calling it border. It's not. It's a residential apartment. I take care of it myself.
Mm-hmm.
And with that sitting there, then like another person that said, we got the prostitution. We got people running in and out of our neighborhoods that don't live there. Then we have, if you do build this building, everybody's going to complain about the parking. Even though it might say it's enough on Ocean, it's not. It's not enough on it. They saying that, oh, we're going to put up this so they can have parking. What's wrong with the people on the block? A lot of people on Warner Avenue don't have driveways or garages. My roommate, she has a handicap spot. And sometimes I have to go out there and tell them to move. They get mad. I don't care because that's not your spot. And all these other residents here, they going through it. They come home, somebody's parking in their driveway, somebody's parking, and half of the time they get an attitude because they don't want to move. And then my thing is, if you do build this building, I don't think Jersey City people is going to be in it. I really don't think so. I think people from New York or other places, it's going to move into this building.
1 minute left.
And I see it happening in all these other buildings because I see a lot of out-of-state New York tags that's living on either my block, Wade, Ocean, and it's not fair for the people that's got to come home. And I used to wait for my neighbor at 11 o'clock at night to make sure she got in when she parked her car because it's not safe anymore. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Oh, we have another young lady.
Hello. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this proceeding will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes. My name is Tara Etheridge Payton, T-A-R-A. My maiden name is Etheridge, E-C-H-E-R-I-D-G-E, and my married name is Payton, P-A-T-O-N.
Address?
9 Warner Avenue. Good evening. I live right next door to 311 Ocean Avenue. We share both my side and rear property lines, where all the windows on my home are located. I'm here tonight as a neighbor who will be directly and materially impacted by this project, not just conceptually, but in very real ways. I want to say up front, I'm not against development. I understand that Jersey City is growing, but this proposal is not a modest adjustment. It's a 6-story building proposed in a quiet neighborhood of residential homes. If approved as is, my home will lose natural light, airflow, and the basic privacy that makes it livable. I will be living in the shadow of a 6-story wall that didn't exist before, and my home will feel boxed in by something far larger than anything else around here. This is a drastic change and exactly the kind of impact that current zoning code was designed to prevent. Parking is already a constant issue on our block. You've heard about it. We regularly see people from other streets park here, sometimes even blocking driveways and then walk several blocks to wherever they live. It's not just at night, it happens all day. If this project moves forward with 60 units and only 29 parking spaces, the burden will fall squarely on nearby residents who are already competing for space. The applicant is requesting over 7 separate variances, including a use variance to exceed the allowable housing density by more than 3 times. The design does not match the scale or character of the neighborhood and places a significant burden on those of us who live right next to it. If it can't be brought into alignment with the zoning code and the lived realities of this block, then I don't believe it should be approved. As this board knows, use variances under NJSA 40:55D-70D require
1 minute
clear
left.
and compelling justification. These are not minor deviations. They are substantial departures from the purpose of the zoning ordinance. The burden is on the applicant to prove the site is particularly suited for this level of use and that it won't result in substantial detriment to the public good. As an adjacent property owner, one who has reviewed all the application materials, I can say plainly, their analysis ignores the lived experience of the people who actually live there. The burden of proof has not been met. And I am not alone in that view. A petition opposing this proposal has already received over 150 signatures from concerned residents. I understand this board is balancing many interests, but your responsibility is also to uphold the integrity of the zoning process and protect the public interest. If this application is approved, I believe it would set a troubling precedent.
That's time.
One where zoning. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. We have any more speakers? We have Councilwoman Ridley. Would you like to come up and speak?
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this proceeding will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yeah, I do. Okay, so I'm just walking in and I don't have all the details, but I believe we're still speaking on 311 Ocean, right?
We are.
Okay. I was across the street at the JCEDC meeting and I got a text message. So I'm here to tell you what I do know about 311 Ocean and where we are. Oh, I'm sorry. Councilwoman Denise Ridley, Councilwoman for the Ward A section in Jersey City. So today I received a message from someone from change.org saying there was a petition for a project at 311 Ocean Avenue. I was not able to see the petition, and I haven't seen it in the past, but based off of the address, I did provide him with some information that I had on the project. So let me start here. Ward A, we're the only ward that has community meetings on every project coming to the ward before it gets to you guys zoning or planning, right? And I thank the zoning and planning directors for adhering to my request to do that, because it is a good opportunity for our residents to interact directly with the developers and tell them what they like and what they don't like. For this particular project, the first meeting was in 2023 at PS 20. At that time, the residents were concerned about parking. The main concern was parking. And the next was local jobs. So they asked the developer to go back to the drawing board. Typically, I don't do a second meeting. I allow the block association to do that meeting. There wasn't a set representative that wanted to do the meeting, so we did a second meeting in 2024. And the developer came back with one-to-one parking at the neighborhood's request. And also, at that first meeting, he answered the question and took residents' information in regards to local jobs for contractors. Since that time, I have not received any additional outreach from anyone having an issue with the project, but I know that I believe maybe when it went back to the planning department, I'm not sure if that parking was changed or not. I'm not sure where we are with the parking now, but the developer did adhere to the community's request. So any changes after that would have been at the request of the planning board. So I'm not sure where the parking is, like I said. But I heard the young lady talking about parking when we came in, and I think she said 29 spaces. That wasn't where it was when it left that initial meeting. So from my point of view, the developer was very accommodating to the residents, listening to their concerns and trying to come up with something that they were in favor of. Mm-hmm. Now, if that has changed, then, I would need those new specs, but that didn't change as far as I know based off of his choices. But yes, parking is an issue in that area. I don't know if there were other issues raised tonight, but when I walked in, they were talking about parking. Parking is an issue. So anything that this zoning board can do to accommodate any more parking in that project or allow the developer to add more parking, which is what they did request to do, then I think that would greatly help our residents. I know I'm not allowed to sway the board, so I'm not telling you what to do, but I'm asking you to please take the concerns of my residents into serious consideration.
Okay. Thank you so much. Do we have any more speakers?
Good evening. Good evening.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this proceeding will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yeah, I do. My name is Carla Blue Bryant, CarlaBlueBryant. I'm a resident of 15 Warner Avenue. I'm a workaholic. I'm never home. So, unfortunately, I missed a lot of the meetings, and I am unaware of all this happening. So got upset because I think this was already in the works. But thanks to my residents, they told me, my neighbors, telling me that, no, today is the day to make an approval. I'm against the project because the building is going to be in my backyard, like towards my back. I am worried because I have children. I am a resident and I live in that home for over 40 years. And I have windows in the back. I like to leave my windows open. So now we putting a building in the back where people can look through my home. I'm worried about that. I'm worried about, like they say, strangers in the neighborhood. I'm worried about the parking. I have trouble walking, my mom, my neighbors. And even now we have trouble with the parking because people take up not one parking space, but two. They put their cars, they don't think about other people. So bringing in more people and taking up more space is going to be an issue, like everyone says. So that's my biggest issue, is especially my privacy in my backyard. I use my backyard for everything, so now that's going to be taken away from me. And it's hard for me to keep up with the property as much now. I work 2 jobs trying to keep it upgraded, and it's still hard for me. So please think about us and think about my privacy as well as the people parking and everything, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You still need a break?
Do we have any more speakers? Because if not, then we're just going to take, okay.
I do. My name is Dwayne Patton. Good evening, everyone. My name is Dwayne Patton, D-W-A-Y-N-E, last name Patton, P-A-T-O-N. I reside at 9 Warner Avenue. I guess today, proud of my community. They came out, voiced their opinion, stood up, provided perspective. My wife spoke, my 2 brothers spoke eloquently. One gave the technical aspects of why this project should not be a go or approved by the board. When we consider densities, when we consider parking, besides, on just so many fronts, this project is a no-go. I hear people not just giving perspective, but pleading to the board, saying, please do not approve this. I don't know how much more emphatic we could be from a social aspect, from a economic aspect, from a technical aspect, that this does not check mark any boxes. And then we also have the only people that's in approval of such a building going up are those who want to build and who are profiting for it. That's the problem that we have that's going on in America or in the world today. Everything is so much money, profit. Me, as a person who's active in the community, my brothers and I, we do mentorship for younger kids. Like, there's a lot of hope lost. When you walk out on MLK, I'm born and raised in Jersey City, we have so many people going crazy because they don't have any hope. Now we have a lot of civil people here, educated people here on Warner, Wade, Chapel, master degrees, work for the city, all types of things. We're coming and trying to do this with the proper process. So what I'm asking and I'm pleading from the board is to respect that. We're following due process. We're working hard. We lose a lot of hope in larger government and in those different aspects. Now, when we're dealing with smaller government, we can't say that we all came out here in numbers today, and we can't even get listened to in a smaller government environment either. So, in closing, I'm just asking to consider not only the perspective, but the pleading from everyone who attended here tonight and asked to not approve this build. And it's not just from a mindset of people who don't understand development. You have a lot of educated people who stepped up tonight and spoke. We're speaking from a social aspect, economic aspect, technical aspect. It's a no-go.
Okay. Thank you so much. Do we have any more speakers? Okay, if we don't have any more speakers, we need to take a 10-minute. Are you okay? What? You okay? Okay, so we're closing the public portion of the meeting. Are you okay? Do you still need it or you don't? Okay. All right, we're going to take a 10-minute break and, just give the our stenographer a little break, okay? And we'll be right back. Okay. Okay. Hi. I'd like to bring up the traffic engineer, please, if we may.
Okay, if I may,
Yeah.
we discussed this out of the presence of the board with my client. I think I'm going to want to carry this application until the next meeting.
Smart move.
What we will do in the meantime is perhaps we're going to meet with the community again. We may meet with the council person again, and we're certainly going to meet with planning and have some conversations. We've listened very patiently to the neighborhood, and they have concerns.
They do.
Some concerns cannot be addressed because they're impossible to address. Some concerns are rational concerns that perhaps we can address. So I'd like the opportunity, at least, and the time to do that correctly and come back to the board.
Okay. Yes. Do you think should we have like board members any questions or anything, or what? I think we should just wait. Should we wait? All right. Thank you.
And I'll bring the traffic engineer back the next time, certainly.
Yes, please. Okay.
How does he get on the calendar?
I don't know, Eric.
I guess the question is, are we carrying to a date uncertain, or we think you'll have a quick enough turnaround to where we can make it to May 8th?
I'd like to carry it to May 8th, and if I have a problem, I'll notify you.
Okay.
And I'll notify the board.
Okay. So it can be carried to May 8th then?
Okay. I want to thank everybody that came out to speak and also be here and show their concerns. We're very concerned. We hear your concerns. So, what?
And obviously they do.
Yeah, so we hear your concern, and as you can see, they hear your concerns. So at least we're doing something positive. We're meeting again. They're going to come back. Hopefully they'll come back with a lot of suggestions that you guys have made during the meetings. Okay? Okay. And with that, we thank everybody that came in to speak. Thank you. Have a good day. We're still, you can still stay. We still have another another case to hear, just in case you want to hang out with us. Okay, so all right.
Good evening, everyone.
Okay, so the next case. All right, we're going to give us a minute so that we can let everybody go.
Excuse me, everyone. If you need to talk and gather, can you gather outside so we can continue with the next case? Thank you.
Okay, so our next case is Z 20240056, and that's 157 Lincoln Street. Boy, I was there yesterday.
Yes. Good evening, everyone. Michael Higgins of Castano Quigley Cherami on behalf of the applicant here.
All right, hold on a second. Can we please hold our conversations outside so that we can have hear another case? Thank you so much.
They're going. That's okay, you waited this long.
What's a few more minutes?
One more minute. Yeah. Okay, all right, you have the floor.
Thank you. So this is 157 Lincoln Street. First, I guess some housekeeping. I have the original notices for the board, if you would like.
Do we have that? You can give it to the gentleman. The script applicant proposing an addition and a renovation to an existing two-story building with two dwellings units to a three-story building with the two dwelling units. Okay.
So this is 157 Lincoln Street. It's in the R1 zone. It's a very undersized lot. Standard lot is 2,500 square feet in this area, and we have 1,336 square feet. So it's a little over half of a regular size lot.
Okay.
There's an existing two-story, two-family home. We're proposing to renovate that, make it a three-story, two-family home. And that also involves an addition in the rear of the building. To accomplish this, there's only two variances. It's rear yard setback and also a variance for the setback of the roof deck. Those are both related, as the testimony will show, to the very small nature of the lot. Without further ado, I would like to have my architect sworn in, Avart Patel.
Okay. No, yeah, they will go up and then back.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this proceeding will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you, and just state your full name.
Avart Patel, Aavart, Patel.
Okay. Go ahead.
No, I need a USB-C.
I thought that was going to be an easy one. I thought this was going to be, no, I thought this was going to be
There's
easy.
an
One, two,
attachment
one,
you
two.
usually have. So.
Jeffrey, you're unhappy today. I see. You're usually a lot more joyful and.
Listen, this has been a long week. I want to go home and go to sleep.
Me too. I woke up at 5 o'clock this morning. No, but I never wake up at 5. I'm retired. I wake up at 9.
No, it's just been a long week. I'm tired.
Go ahead.
Here we go. It's not coming up.
Can we, would you please?
Oh, sorry. It wasn't plugged in complete. Yeah. It's doing something.
Got it?
You got it.
Okay.
Can they see it? Can the board see the slides? We don't seem to
We
see
don't
them.
see the slide.
Yeah, I see it on mine. They don't.
I don't. No. I see your restaurant. Well, you know, you see, that's because you were talking.
No. Yeah, I see that.
That we see. I don't. You know, I want to see now I see it. Okay. I see that. Do you want us to see something else? Because that's all I'm seeing.
Yes. It went away?
That's what we're saying. So he was trying because it was going to go like around.
I know, but who cares?
Who cares? Right?
Let's try.
Yeah.
Is this the right one? Okay.
Well, they got to lower it, yeah.
They're going to come back with less like that.
They better. Because I was ready to say no anyway.
Yep. Yeah.
He got it up here, so I'll turn around.
I'm not turning around. You got to fix that.
Oh, it's there. Yay.
Okay, technical issues are resolved, I hope.
Yep.
Okay, now we're cooking.
It's just too big, but make it work. I know. All right. Sorry about that.
Okay.
Okay, so the lot is located at the intersection of Lincoln and Columbia Avenue.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes, sorry. As Michael indicated, the lot is about 1,336 square feet, 20 foot wide, and about 66.75 long. Currently, there's a two-story structure with a single-story two-car garage in the back of the building, and we are proposing additional story, so make it a three-story, and there's a small addition in the back which would go over the garage, not fully covering it, but partially. I'm going to quickly go through the current and then the proposed site plan. As indicated, the garage the garage has access from the side street, and the main entrance is located on the Lincoln Street. The garage is on the Columbia Avenue. I'm going to quickly go through the floor plans. This page has three drawings. The one on the left is the existing condition, basement level or the cellar. Then the middle is the demolition plan, and then the proposed plan on the right side. This level is going to remain more or less as is. There's no change proposed, just a little, the access step would be rebuilt. Now coming to the main level, this one is, there are two bedrooms and, there are 3-bedroom and a living area with a kitchen on the back. It's a more like a split level. The front of the building is lower, and then the back where the staircase and the connection to the garage is, it's elevated about 3.5 feet. And the proposed layout, as you can see, it will have two partial units. The unit number 1 would have access from the back, and then unit number 1 will have access from the Lincoln Street. I skipped the plan, sorry. As you can see, the entrance to unit number 2, which would have...
What unit number 2?
Unit number 2 is located towards the front of the building along Lincoln Avenue, and this is the access point for unit number 2. And then unit number 1 access is along the Columbia Avenue. And that's how it is right now, so just kind of reiterating, it will remain like that. I'm going to quickly go through the unit number 1 layout. As I indicated, the side entry here come in. The living and a kitchen area is located with the windows overlooking the Columbia Avenue, and then the staircase will lead to the second level, which would be over here, and the 2 bedrooms are located. 2-bedroom, 2-bath is located on the second level. Unit number 1, that's that. Unit number 2, you have 1 bedroom on the first floor, and then 2-bedroom would be located on the upper floor with the kitchen and the living areas. This is the 3rd floor plan, which again extends. The unit number 2 has 2 bedrooms. 1 bedroom and a small rack room located over here, and then the master bedroom is located towards the back.
So I have a question real quick. Unit number 2 is a duplex.
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
And
No, that's.
actually the owner. He's basically he's going to
Okay.
occupy it. So that unit is a little larger. It's
Look-
all close to 1,800 square feet, and that's why he decided to keep it that way.
Okay, can you go back one slide?
Sure.
I'm explaining.
Yeah, go back.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's a crisscross, so that's a little.
Yeah.
Which level you want me to go to?
Hold on, she's you've lost me. Going from
Okay.
one unit to another.
I can start at the
No,
first
he's
floor.
going to explain it to me real quick.
Can you make it larger?
Make it large so that we
Okay.
can see. Yeah.
All right.
Okay, right there. Okay, so
Let me go to the first level.
go to the first level. Which one is the first level?
This, the one on the
This
right
one.
side, that's the
Okay.
proposed plan.
Wait, let him explain. Wait. But let him
I'm sorry.
Excuse me.
If you're speaking for the record, you have to speak up. But if
sorry.
not, you have to.
Yeah, well, let him explain it.
Okay. Yeah, but it's a duplex. That's why you confused.
Okay, all right, go ahead.
Again, this is a two-family house, and the two units are located on 3 levels. So that's why, the staircases are interior staircase for creating that duplex situation. Unit number 2, as I said, has a access or the entry door on the Columbia Avenue, and that's how it is. It exists right now. Once you come in, you have the open kitchen and a living area here, and then the staircase will go to the second level.
I see.
There are coat closet. Some of the utility closets are located here. A bedroom towards the front of the building with where the windows are, and then one bathroom. This is the hall bath. And then the staircase towards at the Lincoln Avenue side, or Lincoln Street, sorry, that door will go to the second floor, and that's unit number 2.
Okay.
So now going to the second floor, I'm just going to cover the unit number 1, which is on the back, which is continuation of the first floor. As you come up here, you have master bedroom with the attached bath and a closet, and then the second bedroom with the hall bath. Now, towards the front of the building, as you come up the stairs, you have kitchen and then the living area located here, and then one bedroom and a hall bath towards along the Lincoln Street side.
Okay.
Again, once you come around and go to the third level, taking this stair, it will come here where you have two bedrooms, another master with a attached bath, walk-in closet, and then second bedroom, hall bath here, and then a recreation area, rec room towards the Lincoln Street side. And then again, this staircase will lead to the roof deck.
Okay.
Which is over here. There's a setback to the roof deck from a front about 11 feet, and then from the side, the third story is set back 3 feet from the side property line, and then the roof deck is another 3-foot setback. So overall, where the edge of the roof deck to the property line is about 6-foot setback.
Okay.
The condensers are located in a screened area on the roof. I'm going to quickly jump to the elevations. So these are the 2 existing elevations. The one on the left is Lincoln Street, and then the one on the right is Columbia Street. As you can see, the existing entrance and then to car garage along the Columbia Avenue. I'm going to quickly jump to the proposed elevations now.
Okay.
Basically, the existing structure is 2-story with a ornate cornice. So we kind of kept that as is, and then the third-story addition, we created another cornice. So that's why you see the 2. And then the third story is set back 3 feet from the Columbia Avenue side. So it kind of creates a nice detail and a step back with the ornate cornice, which exists at the moment. Overall, the material treatment is horizontal siding. And we're trying to keep the ornate cornice as is, or similar to what exists there. Double hung windows, fairly straightforward. The siding would continue around along the Columbia Avenue and then the rear of the building. And the existing garage, which has a little bit of brick facade, which is dilapidated right now, we're going to just kind of cover it up with a stucco. And of course, the new garage door, which kind of blends with the current style of the architecture. And quickly go to these are the existing side elevations, which are really not visible to its full extent. There's a rear elevation, the comparison, as you can see, 2-story versus 3-story with the balcony from the second floor. And then this is along the neighboring side on Lincoln Street, which is going to remain plain. We are not putting any windows on that side. Guess that's about it. I can answer any questions.
I understand now, thank you.
Sorry about that.
That's all right.
Yeah, you kind of went too fast. Well, we're good.
Okay. I have one more witness, professional planner.
Okay.
We could have Caroline Worstel sworn in.
We know her.
Hi.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this proceeding will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. State.
It's Carolyn Worstel, Worstell. Good evening to the board. My license is current and in good standing this evening.
You were here last time. So.
Yeah.
We know. Go ahead.
So again, we're here this evening for 2 variances with relation to this proposed expansion of the existing 2-family home. One is for the rear yard setback, and then the second is for the upper roof deck. These are both C variances, and we can really look at these under both the C1, which is that hardship criteria, as well as the C2, I think, which is the positive benefits outweigh the detriments. So starting off with the minimum roof deck, with the rear yard setback. So obviously this is a very undersized lot. We are little over half the size of what is required. In addition, we are a corner lot, which creates that unusual situation of the fact that with a corner lot you have 2 front yards, 2 side yards, and then you have the rear lot point. So the rear yard setback really creates that little corner in the rear yard, and that's sort of what the ordinance requires and what you result with when you apply the zoning. In this case, it requires essentially a setback of 5 feet along the short side of the lot and about 17 along the long side of the lot. We've created the existing ground floor has 100% lot coverage. We're not touching that. So the creation of the rear yard that we're providing is really for those upper stories. And in this case, what we're creating is a rear yard setback that is compliant on that short side. You've got the 5 feet, but it doesn't meet that 17. But we think overall what is being created is actually superior to what is required by the ordinance. Because what we're doing is we're providing that clear, I think it's approximately 9 foot, almost 10 feet, it's 9 feet, 11 inches, I believe, setback along the entire rear of that property. So what that does is it creates that clear space for more light and air to reach the interior corner, whereas a conforming setback would result in essentially that little courtyard, but you wouldn't have necessarily all the light you would be getting from the side, from the side street. So we think overall that this results in a better situation. It does provide more light and air. And when you actually sort of look at how much massing void, essentially the space on the lot that should be left empty, from comparing a conforming rear yard setback versus what we're providing, we actually are providing more void on this property with this setback than you would with conforming. Additionally, because of the way we didn't do a shadow study for this property, we're under the 40 feet where you trigger the requirement, but just generally knowing and understanding light and shadows and the fact that this lot has it's oriented, the rear yard is on the south side of the property. So we're really not going to be creating a large shadow impact to those adjacent properties because they're to the south of us. We don't cast shadows that way. Our shadows are going to be cast to the streets on either side or to the adjacent property, which already has essentially a full lot coverage on that property. So we won't be having significant adverse shadow impacts as a result of this setback. When we look at the minimum roof deck setback, strict reading of the ordinance essentially means that you're supposed to have the 10-foot setback on all street frontages. So because we're a corner, we would need a 10-foot setback both not only from Lincoln but also from the side street. We provided on Lincoln, but on the side street, creating that 10-foot setback really makes a very limited area that we can create and have that outdoor space. The lot is actually even narrower than typical. It's only 20 feet wide versus 25. So we're starting from a place where we're even narrower, and then we'd have to have that 10-foot setback. So it really limits the area that we do provide. However, we are still providing a setback. There is still a 3-foot setback from the facade of the third floor. And because that facade is even set back from the existing, first and second floor facade, that it ends up being that we have over a 6-foot setback from the Columbia Avenue facade. So we still are providing a facade setback, but it's more it's reduced, which we think is appropriate considering the fact that we start from a place of a narrower lot to begin with. So I think, again, we have these, the C1 criteria, which is the fact that we have these hardships relating to the fact that we have an undersized lot. It's narrower than typical, it's shallower than typical. So I think that we can look at it in that respect and say providing some relief here is warranted. But I also think we meet that C2 criteria, that the benefits here are outweighing those detriments. And I think the benefits here are the fact that we are creating what we think is a rear yard that is better than what would be what would be result from a conforming rear yard. We're providing more light and air because we have the clear space straight from the Columbia street frontage, and because we are still providing some additional that setback up on for the roof deck. I do think that this project promotes the municipal land use law. It's promoting an appropriate residential use of the property consistent with Purpose A. We are providing and maintaining adequate light, air, and open space to the surrounding properties consistent with Purpose C, as I mentioned, by providing that rear yard setback. We are promoting a desirable visual environment consistent with Purpose I, with the renovation of the building facades and some additional landscaping on the street frontages, the sidewalks. So I think overall we result in having a more attractive building here at the corner.
Okay.
I don't see that there is a substantial detriment to the general welfare. As I said, it's a conforming use. And we're essentially renovating this property, nor do I see it resulting in a substantial impairment to the intent or purpose of the zone plan or the zoning ordinance. It's consistent with the intent of the R1 district to accommodate existing housing, encourage compatible infill, preserve the streetscape, and just results in a development that's really trying to meet that intent of that R1 district. So I think overall, the project meets both the positive and negative criteria, and the variances could be granted.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
And that does conclude our direct testimony. I believe it is maybe a complicated project in terms of stairways and duplexes, but it's hopefully, in my opinion, a simpler project in terms of variances, and we're happy to answer any questions.
Do the board members have any questions?
No, he answers.
Okay. Okay. Can we have staff comments?
Yeah, I don't want to add too much. I just would like to point out some of the positive criteria that makes this project worthwhile. One of that being that there are green roof trays and 3 new street trees added, which will improve the stormwater mitigation of the site, which is currently at 100% law coverage. I also believe that the project improves the streetscape by replacing the facade materials and adding onto the existing cornice, as well as extending what cornice is already there, improving the aesthetic of the building. And it will also bring the building into building and fire code standards. So with that, planning staff would ask that the applicant agree to the staff conditions outlined in the memo dated April 21st.
That's fine, yes.
And planning staff recommends approval.
Okay. Okay, so if there's no more questions, may I have a motion?
Madam Chair, acting.
Just say.
Okay, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve KZ 2024-0056 as presented to the board this evening.
I second.
Roll call?
Commissioner Shadid?
Yes.
Commissioner Patel?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyle?
Yes.
Commissioner Barron?
Yes.
Acting Vice Chair Allen?
Yes.
Acting Madam Chair Rule?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay.
6 in favor, none opposed.
All right, good. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
So we don't have any resolutions? All right, so can I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion. Second.
Okay.